Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. It is important to note that there are two categories of the Ahlul Kitab, the people of the book, that's talking about the Jews and the Christians. There are those that Islam permits us to relate with kindly and fairly, and there are those that we have been prohibited from relating with at all. In Surah Al-Mumtahina, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين وَلَمْ يُخْرِجُوكُمْ مِنْ دِيَارِكُمْ أَنْ تَبَرُّوهُمْ وَتُقْسِطُوا إِلَيْهِمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُقْسِطِينَ. Allah does not forbid you from relating with fairness and kindness those among the non-Muslims who have not waged war against you for the sake of religion and have not ejected you from your homes. Allah does not prohibit you from relating with them fairly and with kindness. Verily, Allah loves those who are kind and fair in their dealings with others. Those who Allah has prohibited you from relating with kindness and fairness are those who fight you in matters of the deen and who have ejected you from your homes, to the end of the verse. So here we understand that the non-Muslims in society, talking about the Jews and the Christians precisely, are not to be treated in the same way. We must be able to identify those among them who do not fight us in matters of the deen, who are not bigots. They do not harbor hatred for Islam and the Muslims. They are just practicing their faith and living peacefully with the Muslim community. So we must differentiate these people in terms of how we relate to them. There's no gainsaying the fact that we live in a society that is cosmopolitan, a society where we have non-Muslims, Christians and Jews as family members, as relatives, as siblings, sometimes even as parents, as employers, as colleagues at work, as fellow students in our universities, and as students that we teach in our schools. How do we relate with them? Firstly, we must relate with those that do not harbor any hatred for Islam and the Muslims with kindness and fairness, as Allah has mentioned in the ayah earlier quoted. As for those who fight against the Muslims, who detest the practice of our faith, then we must also treat them with equal measure. We must treat them with equal measure. We must also show our enmity and detest for what they do. Now, generally speaking, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has permitted for the Muslims the consumption of the foods of the people of the book. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Ma'idah, اليوم أحل لكم الطيبات وطعام الذين أوتوا الكتاب حل لكم وطعامكم حل لهم. Almighty Allah says, I have permitted for you all that is good, at-tayyibat, all that is good are permitted for you to consume. وطعام الذين أوتوا الكتاب, and the food of those that will be given the book, and the food of those that were given the book before you, talking about the Jews and the Christians, is permissible for you to consume. So this ayah gives a general permission for the Muslims to eat from the foods of the Ahlul Kitab, and this is regardless of whether it is during their festival or not during their festival. The ayah gives a general implication. And this is the position of some of the Salaf of this Ummah. Among them are companions of Prophet ﷺ, including his wife Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. Anyone that reads Ibn Taymiyyah's Iqtida'u Sirat al-Mustaqim li-Mukhalafati Ashab al-Jahim and Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyyah's Ahkamu al-Dhimma will come across several of these athar, several of these texts that have been narrated through authentic chains from the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, including Aisha, his wife, Ali ibn Abi Talib, and son-in-law, among others among the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. So this evening, I'm going to go through a few of these athar concerning the permissibility of eating the food of the Ahlul Kitab on a general note, whether they were prepared for the sake of their festival or they were prepared on ordinary days. And then I'm also going to mention the views of those who say it is not permissible to consume their foods that are being cooked specifically to celebrate their festivals, and then what is the more correct position. So let me read a few of the athar that have been mentioned by Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah in his Ahkam al-Dhimma concerning the permissibility of eating the food of the Jews and the Christians, irrespective of when they were cooked and for what purposes they have been cooked. He narrates an athar from Umair ibn al-Aswad al-Sakuni. This is found in Ahkam al-Dhimma, page 517, who said, Ataitu ahli, once I returned home to my family, فَإِذَا كَتْفُ شَاتِ مَطْبُوخَ. So I found them with a cooked meat, a sheep, from a sheep. قُلْتُ مِنْ أَيْنَ هَذَا. So I asked them, where did you get this cooked meat from? قالوا, I was replied, جِرَانُنَا مِنَ النَّصَارَ ذَبَحُوا كَبْشًا لِكَنِيسَةِ جِرْجِشِ. Our neighbors from the Christians have slaughtered a sheep for their church, Jirgis, like a festival. So he said, I went to Abu Darda. Abu Darda is a companion of Prophet ﷺ. I went to him, فَسَأَلْتُهُ, and I asked him concerning the permissibility of consuming this meat that has been cooked for the sake of the Christian festival. فَقَالَ, Abu Darda responded, Allahumma ghufran, O Allah, forgive us. Hum ahlul kitab, these are people of the book. طَعَامُهُمْ لَنَا حِلٌّ وَطَعَامُنَا لَهُمْ حِلٌّ. Their food is permitted for us to eat, and our food is also permitted for them to eat. And so Abu Darda gave the permission to this man to go and eat the food, to go and eat the meat that had been sent to him from the Nasara. He also mentions another narration from Utbah ibn Jarir. It is said that maybe the name is Jarir ibn Utbah or Utbah ibn Jarir. There is a contradiction in the name. Who said, Sa'altu Ubadah ibn as-Samit. I asked Ubadah ibn as-Samit. Now, Ubadah ibn as-Samit is also a companion of Prophet ﷺ. And dhaba'ih al-Nasara limawtahum, concerning the meat that have been slaughtered by the Christians for their dead ones, like to probably celebrate their dead ones. Qala la ba'sa bihi. Ubadah ibn as-Samit said, there is nothing wrong with it. You can eat it. He also mentioned another narration from Al-Walid bin Muslim, who said, Sami'tu al-Awza'i an Makhul. I heard from Awza'i, who narrates from Makhul, فيما ذبحت النصارى لأعياد كذا, concerning the animal that has been slaughtered by the Christians for a particular festival of theirs. قال كله. And Makhul responded by saying, eat from that meat. قد علم الله ما يقولون وَأَحَلَّ ذَبَائِحَهُمْ. Allah is more aware of what they say when they slaughter their animals, yet He has permitted that we eat from what they have slaughtered. He also mentioned another narration from Abdul Malik bin Atta concerning a Christian, fi al-Nasrani, concerning a Christian, يَذْبَحُ وَيَذْكُرُ اسْمَ الْمَسِيحِ, who slaughters an animal and says, Bismil Masih, in the name of Isa, that is Jesus. قَالَ كُلْهُ. And Atta said, eat the meat, of course. قَدْ أَحَلَّ اللَّهُ ذَبَائِحَهُمْ وَقَدْ عَلِمَ مَا يَقُولُونَ. Allah has permitted us to eat from their animals, and He knows better what they say. So these are some of the athar that have been mentioned by Ibn al-Qayyim in his Ahkamu al-Dhimma concerning the permissibility of eating what the non-Muslims have slaughtered, whether it was for their festivals or for any other occasion of theirs. Now let's go to Iqtida Sirat al-Mustaqim of Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, the teacher of Ibn al-Qayyim. Ibn Taymiyyah said, وَأَمَّا قَبُولُ الْهَدِيَّةِ مِنْهُمْ يَوْمَ عِيدِهِمْ, concerning accepting gifts from them on the days of their festivals, فَقَدْ قَدَّمُنَا عَنْ Ali ibn Abi Talib. We have mentioned earlier narrations from Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu anhu, أنه أتي بهدية النيروز فقبلها, that the non-Muslims at the time gave him a present on the day of their festival, Nairuz, the festival of the Persians, فقبلها, and he accepted the gift given to him on the occasion of this festival. وروى Ibn Abi Shayba, Ibn Abi Shayba also narrated in his Musannaf, أن مرأة سألت عائشة, that a woman came to ask our mother Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha, قالت, she said, Inna lana adhaaran, we have some wet nurses, min al-majus, from the Magians, wa innahu yakun lahum al-Eid, and they usually celebrate their festival of the Magians, فَيُهُدُونَ لَنَا, and they bring gifts for us on the occasion of these festivals. فَقَالَتْ, our mother Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha said, أَمَّا مَا ذُبِحَ لِذَلِكَ الْيَوْمِ فَلَا تَأْكُلُوا. Whatever has been slaughtered for that occasion, do not eat from it. وَلَكِنْ كُلُوا مِنْ أَشْجَارِهِمْ. But whatever fruits that they bring as gifts to you, then you can eat from such gifts. So this is the opinion of Shaykhul Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala. Now we have two opinions already, even within the opinion of permissibility. The first opinion is that whatever was given to us on that day, be it rice or chicken or whatever meat or fruit, whatever gift they have given to us, so long as it falls within what is permissible for the Muslim to consume, then he can take it. He can take it and eat it if he so wishes. Then the second opinion is that what can be consumed on that day is other than the animals that have been slaughtered for that occasion. So if they slaughter their chickens, even if they invite a Muslim to slaughter it on their behalf, or slaughter rams or camels or whatever they have slaughtered, we should not eat from the meat, but you can eat anything else like fruits, like vegetables, like drinks that have been gifted to us for that occasion. So this is one opinion. Now the second opinion is that it is not permissible for us to eat from the food of the Ahlul Kitab for that occasion, and also to accept gifts from them, and that this is an exemption from the general permissibility of وَطَعَامُ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ حِلٌّ لَكُمْ. The food of the Ahlul Kitab is permissible for you to consume. Evidence for this view is that Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already told us in the Quran that even though we can relate with our non-Muslim neighbors and colleagues who do not harbor any hatred for Islam and the Muslims, you can live with them with kindness and fairness. But this is about social affairs. We can interact with them, we can have businesses with them, among other things. But when it comes to the religious affairs, Almighty Allah says, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ لَا أَعْبُدُ مَا تَعْبُدُونَ. O you kuffars, O you disbelievers, I shall not worship what you worship. And in the end of that surah, Allah says, Lakum dinukum waliya dini. To you is your religion, and to me is mine. And so the proof here is that whatever is related to the practice of their religion, the position of the Muslim at all times must be Lakum dinukum waliya dini. To you is your religion, and to me is mine. And we know that al-a'yad min sha'a'ir ad-din. Festivals are part of the signs of the religion. Every religion has its festival, and that festival is part and parcel of the teachings of that religion. Now, if the non-Muslims celebrate a festival which is part of their religion, then why should a Muslim support the celebration of such festivals when it clearly goes against the teachings of Islam? Now, in this particular case, the festival being celebrated, which is called Christmas, is celebration of the birth of Jesus, Prophet Isa alayhi salam, who they consider to be a son of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wal-'iyadhu billah. For a Muslim that believes that Almighty Allah does not beget and was not begotten, celebrating such occasions with them by any shred is tantamount to accepting their claim that Allah has a son. And a Muslim reads, Kul huwa Allahu ahad, say Allah is one, absolute one. Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad. So for a Muslim that reads, lam yalid, Allah does not beget, wa lam yulad, nor was he begotten. For him to join in celebration, and by joining in celebration here we mean accepting the gift of the non-Muslims on this occasion, indicates acceptance of this false claim. So this is the argument of the second party, that it is tantamount to assisting them, accepting them, and acknowledging their claim that Almighty Allah has a son, and that in fact he was born on this date, or this is the date we are picked to celebrate his birth. And so when you look at the two opinions, we realize that we have scholars of Islam who are on this issue. In fact, among the Sahaba, we have scholars of Islam who are of both opinions, and even among the Sahaba, that we can accept their gift on the day of their ayat, on the day of their festivals, or that we cannot accept their gifts on the day of their festivals, but we can accept it on other days. Because accepting their gifts on the day of their festivals violates lam yalid or lam yulad, since they are celebrating the birth of the so-called Son of God, according to their belief. However, Shaykh Uthaymin, rahimahullah ta'ala, in his sharih on Iqtida' Sirat al-Mustaqim of Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, said a very important point that I would like us all to note. He said, هذا غريب من الشيخ. The position that Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah has mentioned here, that it is permitted to accept their gift on the day of their festivals, is strange. This is a strange opinion. لأن قبول هديتهم في أعيادهم تشعر بأنه رضا في أعيادهم. Because accepting the gifts that they share on the day of their festivals indicates that one is pleased with this festival of theirs, which claims that God has a son. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. لكن في آثار عن الصحابة. But Sheikh also mentioned here that although there are certain narrations from some of the Sahaba permitting accepting such gifts and eating their food, وَلَعَلَّهُمْ إِنَّمَا كَانُوا يَقْبَلُونَها لِقُوَّةِ الْإِسْلَامِ فِي ذَلْكَ الْوَقْتِ. Sheikh said, perhaps the reason why the companions mentioned in the Athar accepted such gifts was because Islam at the time was strong and firm in society. وَأَنَّ النَّاسَ لَنْ يَنْخَدِعُوا بِذَلِكَ, and that people will not be deceived by accepting such gifts, by showing affection to the non-Muslims and accepting their faith, accepting that God has a son, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, among other things. وَأَنَّ الْكُفَّارَ أَنفُسَهُمْ يَعْلَمُونَ أَنَّ الْمُسْلِمَ أَعْلَى مِنْهُمْ, and that at that time, even the non-Muslims know that the Muslims have more honor than them, they have more authority than them in the land. لكن في وقتنا الحاضر, Sheikh Ibn Uthaymin said, but in this our present time, لو قبل المسلمون هدية الكفار وقت أعيادهم, should the Muslims start accepting the gifts that non-Muslims share on the occasion of the festivals, لطاروا فرحا, the non-Muslims will be so happy. They will be so happy that Muslims are accepting their gift on this occasion. وقالوا, and they will definitely say, إن المسلمين وافقون على أن هذا اليوم يوم عيد, and they will say that the Muslims have acknowledged the occasion of this day as our day of festival. So this caution by Sheikh Uthaymin is what I believe should be the position of every Muslim, and this is my position. Yes, we acknowledge that some of our Salaf, including some of the Sahaba, are of the opinion that one can accept the gift given to us by non-Muslims on the occasion of their festivals. But what is better for us as Muslims and makes us stronger is to politely tell the non-Muslims that lakum dinukum waliya dini. Your religion is yours, and this is my religion. And this gives the Muslim a kind of izzah to nafs. The Muslims have kind of izzah, honor, self-esteem, and it is not a matter of fight. And once you make it clear to your non-Muslim bosses, subordinates or friends or colleagues or employers at work, it becomes even easier. And this is something I've been practicing over the years. My non-Muslim friends and colleagues know that I respect them. I have absolute respect for them. But when it comes to matters of the deen, I draw a line. That line is lakum dinukum waliya dini. For you is your religion, for me is mine. I have a responsibility as a Muslim to invite non-Muslims to Islam. So I keep preaching Islam to them. I keep telling them to abandon the false faith that Allah has a son or is three in one, among other beliefs of theirs. And so when I show a kind of acceptance by taking this gift from them, then it kind of indicates weakness in my iman. So this is what I think should be the position of the Muslim at this time. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi.